G'day, I'm Greg, welcome to the shed. As you can see, there's another new toy slash project. This is an Elliott mill that I've picked up very cheap. It's probably the cheapest mill that I've seen advertised for 2 years. When I say the cheapest, for a full-size mill. But the reason it's cheap is because it needs some work. It needs quite a bit of work. It's been sitting outside. So to go with its mate that's behind me, which is the vertical swaddle, which was in a previous video, I've got enough to keep me occupied for more than an hour. But it's got a couple of interesting features in it. The table swings 45 degrees each way. I'm just having a look to see that you can see that. Yes, you can. And it swings back 45 degrees the other way, and it's not seized. We've got the universal head on it. It looks like this is an NT40 taper in the head, and it actually should be rotated around 90 degrees to come straight down, but you can go outside and drill and bore with it. And when this comes off, the main spindle looks like it's NT50. I haven't measured it yet, so I could be wrong, but they do look like they're different sizes, but we'll find out while we're doing the rebuild. This here's got to be stripped because there's 4 bolts in the bottom here. But I'm saying the bottom, they'll actually be in the side, but one of them's snapped off, so I've got to do something about fixing that. I've got a crank handle here to wind things up and down. The table's not going up and down. I haven't had a look to see why. Yeah, let's go for a wander around. I'll take it off the stand and we'll go for a wander around, and you can get a bit more of an idea of what's good and what's not. Okay, so we'll start off here on the, we'll call it the left hand side of the machine. It's the right hand side as we view it, but it's the left hand side from the rear. What we have on the side here is side of the knee we're looking at. This looks like the feed. I'm a little bit flying in the dark at the moment because I don't know anything about the machine. I don't know how it works, or I say I don't know how it works. I haven't had a chance to try anything on it. What it does have is it looks like it's got a 10 horsepower main motor and a 1.5 horsepower motor on the knee. That's the motor on the knee. I might have to do something about putting some more light on this for you. Just hang on a sec, I'll be back. Okay, so we've got a bit more light in from the other side. So there's the motor for the knee, and that's the feed dial that we were talking about earlier on. This here is the rapid. On the side here we've got our contact switches for the Y axis and the stops. Yeah, that's calling it. Come up. Bit of a look at the head. Protractor around here. And there's also a protractor under there covered in all the muck. Now, the overarm, E-stop, the light. The light is going to be a problem. It's going to have the same problem as I've got with the shaper. Won't be able to get globes for it. Back here we have the cover. Oil indicator for when it's working. These here are for adjusting the gib strips. There's 2 strips. I had to actually take it apart to get it home. There's 2 gib strips in here. They're reasonably short. Only come to about there on each end, and they're doweled. So you can't get the gib strip out until you get the dowels out, which I found out after a while. So you can see that that's pulled away. I've got to do something about fixing that. We'll come around here. You can't really see much in here. This is a back cover, apart from the fact that the door's broken. Let's see if we can get you. It's meant to be a low light camera. So we've got the pulley here, belt going down, some details on the motor which you may or may not be able to read, but it's a 10 horse anyway. Motor's in there, which there's not much light here, so we'll come back to that later. You can see it better when I'm doing the rebuild on it. Around here we have our speed controller or speed selector. I've worked out that that's currently for 45 RPM. And that's now 355 RPM. And if I want to make an adjustment, here you go. There we go. That's 31.5 RPM. And it's an Elliott. And it's an Elliott. And we've got a main on off switch there. It is 3-phase. There's obviously electricity behind there because it's got the lightning bolt. This here is changes the directions. Switch feels good. Inching button. This here's coolant flow straight up is, I don't know if you can see that, straight up is deadhead. And then we've got some varying coolant, so on, off, so you can keep going around the world. Some grease nipples, and it looks like it has been greased and not oiled. Or say greased. There's Zerks, and it looks like it's been greased and not oiled. So yeah, that's a bit of a drama. We'll just I'll come around here a bit further. This is the other side of the head, and in the background you can see it's, well, I won't call it its big brother, you can see its cousin. Here we've got a knob. I think that's the feed, forward and reverse. There was something down here, but it snapped off. It might be XY. One of these will be X, one of these will be Y. I'm not sure. And somewhere around here we've got to have a Z. As you can see, these need a bit of TLC. Again, we've got another sight glass here. This looks like a filler plug. I know what I was going to show you. Obviously that's X left and right. So one of those is probably Z and one will be Y. Excuse me. I've got a knob. I've got a shaft with no knobs. Yeah, and as you can see, the top of the table is a bit less than pretty, but it's great being able to move it around and just swing it. I can see this is going to be a very beneficial feature. One-shot oiling, so you just give it a shot when it's got oil on it. At least that's not seized. I've got to think about things that are seized at the moment. Gib strip there. Table locks. These here. And we'll go across to the other one on this side. Obviously strike here to select my direction of travel, or stop my direction of travel. That looks like a tapered pin that I'll have to knock out. So yeah, I've got a few controls on it, got a few bits and pieces. That's the rapid travel, as we discussed earlier, but we looked at it from the other side. Yes, I don't know if you can see, but yeah, there you go. This is grease. This is full of grease. Hang on a sec, I'm going to put you back on the stand. Okay, this is packed full of grease. Everything has got a heap of grease on it, which is probably in some ways pretty fortunate, because what it means is that I'm pretty ugly, but I'm going to be in shot anyway. What it means is that because it's got grease on everything, a lot of the surfaces should be reasonably well protected. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So I've got a fair bit of work to do. I've got a fair bit of learning to do, in as much as working out how to use it. The interesting thing about this is I can rotate this head clockwise, anti-clockwise. I can rotate this head backwards, forwards. So that's how I've got a tram, is that I get my X direction tram on this axis, rotate, I'm doing 4 bolts here, rotating the big block, and I get my Y direction tram by, when this is vertical, I'll get my Y direction tram by swinging it backwards and forwards. There's a fair bit missing off this. There should be a support bar that sits down here and comes up to the overarm and bolts into the end of the overarm. The end of the overarm's not drilled for it, so this machine obviously wasn't optioned with it. If I remember, I'll probably put them in at the end of the video. There's also a J-head option for this, where you can mount a J-head on it and use that. And there was also a powered overarm available for it, which this one's obviously hasn't got. The problem I have with this is I don't actually know exactly what the machine is. I think it's a Uni-Mill or Uni-Mat. I think it's a Uni-Mill 1250, but I don't know. There was an 1100, 1200, and I'm trying to remember, 1100, a 1250, and there was something else. There's 3 of them in the same family which look like this, but I don't know which one this is. This table length, incidentally, is the usable length of the table from the T-slot, end of the T-slot to the end of the T-slot, is 1600mm, which is 63 inches, and it is 305mm wide, which is 12 inches. So if anyone's got any information on what it actually is, I would greatly appreciate it. Most of the ID and the plates and the information that I want is, or appears to be, missing. That I find 4 bolt holes and no plate, and 4 bolt holes and no plate. For whatever reason they're missing. Well, there might be bolt holes, there might be rivet holes. This has got rivet holes in it here. The degree indicators are there, but that's about all that's there, apart from what I've shown you. Coolant flow, inching buttons, that type of stuff. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting project. I'm quite excited about having it, to be honest with you, because what I've actually wanted, one thing about my current mill is that it hasn't had horizontal milling capability, and I've really been looking for horizontal milling capability. And having a 1600mm long table is a huge advantage as far as I'm concerned, because by the time you set a universal head up on one end, and that's probably why, now that I'm thinking, while I'm talking, that's probably why everything's missing off that end, is because it probably had a universal dividing head on it at that end, so they could do spirals with it. and that's why only this end has got the degree wheel on it. So that might explain a fair bit. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And there's going to be a few videos coming up. The problem with this is I've got a little project and I've got a big project, a very big project, and it's just me rocking everything around. What you've probably noticed is that, that's a bit better. What you've probably noticed is that the background is not familiar. The reason the background is not familiar is because we're not in the shed, we're in the next door shed. So typically, one project, two projects means another project. I've got to shift all the other stuff into this side of the shed, and what I've got in this side of the shed is going into the other side of the shed. You're not getting a guided tour around this side of the shed at this point in time. There's some stuff here that doesn't belong to me, which I can't show you. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't show it to you. But typically one project leads to two projects, which leads to 27 projects, which leads to 200 projects. And we're coming into summer in Australia, and it's going to be hot. We're going to see 40 plus degree days, 40 degrees centigrade, 38 degrees is, 38.6 I think it is 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and we get a lot of those days. So next time, or I say next time, not too distant future, when you look behind me, you'll actually see insulated walls and an insulated roof, and I'm going to be doing a fair bit about making the place cool. There's a couple of windows, or one window's going to go in because I've got to set up a workbench for the young bloke, so he can have some fun down in the shed. He's just turned 9 years old, and he was actually having fun before I went away last time. He was having some fun. He was welding up a little dice. We're making a little cube dice. We're going to drill some holes in it. He's going to have a metal dice to play with. A good little welding project for him, and some drilling and some bits and pieces. So yeah, he's going to have a lot of fun with that. Oh, he's going to. He is having a lot of fun with it, but we only got part way through it before I had to run away to work. But yeah, that's where I'm up to. That's life. We're going to be doing, I am going to be doing a lot of work over the next few days while I'm at home. And with a bit of luck, we should have something significant and substantial to show you. Unfortunately, what that means is that the V-block project gets delayed because I've got to pick up the shaper and move it. Now, it's only got to move literally 4 metres from where it currently is. The problem is to get it to move that 4 metres is 60 metres of outside, down the road, up the road, in the shed, up the other end of the shed. It's going to be a 60-metre journey. And then we've got the lathe and the mill, and we've got the shelving and the racking and the steel and the wood that's in here has got to go out, and everything else that I can't show you has got to go out. And yeah, so there's a total reorganisation going on, which is going to take me more than 15 minutes. You know, it's probably going to be an hour or so. But there will be a few beers involved at the end of it. So, look, thanks very much for watching. If anyone's, excuse me, if anyone does have any information on the mill, I would greatly appreciate it. If anyone has any information on the vertical slaughter, which I know is, excuse me, which I know is a Lee and Hunt, and it's in another video. And vertical is spelled AL, not LE. Yeah, it's all right. We have bad nights occasionally, or bad nights, bad days. If anyone has any information on either of these two machines, I would greatly appreciate it. Likewise, while I'm talking about it, the Churchill Redmond 18-inch shaper that I have been trying to get someone to respond to me about parts manuals, operators manuals, and I have not even been able to get a return email. So if anyone has any information on this Elliott, I think it's a 1250 mil, I would greatly appreciate it. Anyone who has any information on the Lee & Hunt vertical slotter, I would greatly appreciate it. And anyone who has any information on a Churchill Redmond 18-inch shaper, I would also greatly appreciate it. While I'm thinking about it, the Churchill Redmond shaper, I found a date on the motor. 1955 is when the motor was made, so we can assume that the entire machine is about 1955. At least that's what I reckon. I think it's probably a 1955 machine. The motor looks original. I might be wrong, but that's what I think. I think she's a 1955 model. So post Second World War, which makes it relatively new in the land of shapers. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the short little video. And yeah, please comment. Please make comment. Please make comment. Please comment. Please subscribe. And yeah, please give me your feedback. Thanks very much.